Good morning, everyone. Please join me in thanking the University organist, Annette Gerg. Welcome, Kaya. My name is Professor Kara McNish and I'm the Chair of the Academic Board, the peak academic body of the University. And I'm here to tell you a little about this morning's graduation ceremony, its history, the people involved, and how this morning's events will proceed. Before proceedings commence, could I please just request that your mobile telephones are turned down or off, and advise that should an emergency occur in the venue, we'll take our lead from the theatre staff. On behalf of all my university colleagues, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this morning's graduation ceremony. To begin, I'd like to acknowledge that our ceremony today takes place on Whadjuk Budja, the country of the Noongar people, and pay my respects to Noongar elders past, present and emerging as custodians of the historic place at which we meet today. And I'm pleased to say that we will have a formal welcome to country from Barry Maguire as part of our ceremony. Today's graduation ceremony is also a traditional celebration of the university. UWA takes great pride in its history, having enrolled our first students over 100 years ago. However, our roots are deeply embedded in their academic values and traditions that for many centuries have given rise to the world's finest universities. The traditional nature of our graduation ceremony serves to highlight this enduring connection with this heritage. As has been the case in universities across the globe throughout the centuries, the ceremony will begin with the arrival of the academic procession. This procession comprises graduating scholars, academics, and office bearers of the university, attired in their formal academic regalia. UWA is very much an international institution, and our academic staff come from universities from a wide variety of countries and cultures. So in this morning's procession, you'll see a varied and often colourful array of regalia from around the world. The procession will be led by graduating students, followed by academic staff in order of seniority. At the end of the procession will come the principal office bearers of the university, members of the university's governing body, the Senate, and our distinguished guests. The final figure in the procession will be the Chancellor of the university, the Honourable Robert French AC, who is immediately preceded by the mace bearer. The mace will be carried by a current student and is a symbolic representation of the authority vested in the Chancellor, who is Chair of the University's Senate. After the National Anthem, the Chancellor will formally welcome all graduands and guests and guide us through the ceremony. During the ceremony, there will be a short musical interlude performed by students of the UWA School of Music. You will, I believe, find much to interest you during this morning's proceedings, but of course, the main reason you have come is to witness the graduation of our scholars, and I hope you will all join with my colleagues and me in warmly congratulating each scholar who comes onto the stage to have his or her degree conferred. And while it is a historic setting, it's also a celebration, and I invite you to express your enthusiasm wholeheartedly as our graduands are awarded their degrees. There will be a professional video and photographs of the ceremony and professional photographers waiting downstairs, but please do feel free to stand where you are to capture your own images of the moment. Now, would you please all rise to your feet so that the arrival of the academic procession can commence. Thank you.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the University Senate, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to welcome you to our 7th autumn graduation ceremony. I particularly wish to acknowledge the presence at the ceremony of Dr. Angeline Kingslin, who will deliver the graduation address, Mr. Alexander Toir, who will deliver the valedictory address, former Chancellor of this university and Governor of the State of Western Australia and an honorary degree holder from this university, the Honourable Dr. Ken Michael, AC. The Warden of Convocation Representative, Mr. Jeff Gunningham, members of the Senate, Emeritus Professor Jim Williams and Chancellor's Medal recipient, Mrs. Annette Girk. In accordance with the tradition of the university, I now invite Mr. Barry Maguire, a representative of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, to welcome us to country.
Chancellor, Professor Owens, sitting for the Vice-Chancellor, members of the Senate, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, a welcome to country is about how do we, as nations, come together in balance. How do we create a better today for a better tomorrow? Over thousands of years, throughout certain parts of the land here in Perth, which we call Burlo, is the name of Perth, and the Whadjuk lands, there are places where our people used to gather. The nations used to come from as far away as Geraldton, as far away as Albany, Margaret River, by a little message stick that was ran out by one man. And it took them 4 full moons to get in here. As they travelled across the land, they brought different energy. They brought something that could unbalance another. So it's how do we create that old protocol on how do we stand as human beings in today as we gather as nations of Australians, and to bring that balance to what we need to share in order for a better tomorrow. How do we as human beings do a simple thing but smile? A smile is bigger than you can ever think. It will give you a bigger thing that you will ever take into the world. Like my father said, son, you're going to walk amongst nations and you're going to see many frowns. They'll wonder why you're there to do a welcome. But within that crowd of people, there will be a smile. He said, if you find that smile, they've got something for you and you have something for them. If you bother yourself with the frown, graduates, you'll never get to the place where you need to get to. So look for that smile in everything that you do, and find the balance between each other so that you can take and give your culture to the other person who has a different culture, and create a balance for your community. You will never stop learning. You will learn forever. I stood with one of my grandfathers who was 88 in the bush. And as we went home, he said, grandson, today you taught me something. I thought I was supposed to teach you. It's about giving and not expecting anything, because it will come. It's beautiful to see many nations here sitting on the Whadjuk lands today. And may the energies of my ancestors, my grandmothers and my grandfathers who've walked before me come to be with you, us as Australians. Welcome to this beautiful place here. Welcome to UWA. And may you be safe in the things that you do today, tomorrow, and forever. May that energy that has lived with us as the Whadjuk Noongar live with all of us as Australians tomorrow and today. May I share in this old song and I will always sing this old song, because it's about gathering. It's about asking an energy from Kings Park to keep us safe as a people as we gather on this land. Wanarega malana, wanarega malana, boyongora waningo, boyongora waningo, wanarega malana, boyongora waningo, wanarega malana, wanarega malana, boyongora waningo. Boyongora waningo wanare kamalana boyongora waningo. That is the old way of calling for energy in this land, calling for the energy to keep us safe, calling for that to keep us one within our minds so that we can walk better as one within the world. May you be blessed in everything that you do, graduates, and may you find many smiles. Don't bother yourself with that frown, because you will be stumped. God bless, stay safe, and may you progress successfully in your life to come. Welcome.
Thank you, Barry, for that warm welcome to the country of your ancestors. Today, we share in a ceremony which is deeply rooted in the history and tradition of universities in this country and around the world. It marks the formal recognition by the university of the achievements of its graduands in meeting the standards and requirements of the various courses of study and research which they have undertaken over a number of years. They join in this ceremony with members of the academic staff who have taught them or supervised their work, with representatives of the convocation of the university, which is part of the university and which, as graduates, they join. They also come together with parents, friends and other relatives who have supported them in their work and share intimately in their achievements. This university has a long history of achievement and excellence in teaching and research and engagement with the wider community for the benefit of the state, the nation and indeed the global community of which we are all part. It was established, in the words of the University of Western Australia Act in 1911, to advance the prosperity and welfare of the people, and it was the product of the vision and energy and commitment of extraordinary individuals who founded it and were its benefactors. Its achievements are the achievements of people, those who teach and research here, those who govern and administer the university, and the alumni who go from this place to make their contributions in a myriad of different ways. The degree you take from this place is not just a degree, it is a degree from the University of Western Australia, which is one of our country's leading universities and, according to international rankings, one of the world's leading universities. Each of you who graduate today will be presented with a Noongar message stick, carrying with it the story of this place. According to Indigenous beliefs, tribal boundaries were established by the great spirits of the Dreamtime. No human had the right to interfere with those boundaries or to venture onto others' tribal land. But the bearer of a message stick could cross those boundaries. They were traditional passports from one nation to another in Indigenous Australia, and they are seen as carrying the stories of Indigenous people across the land. So in a symbolic way, we entrust the story of this place to you, to carry it into the world. The gift symbolises a permanent connection expressed in the timeless language of the Noongar people. For all of you, I express the hope that the knowledge and skills you have acquired at this university will enable you to follow the lifelong path reflected in its motto, to seek wisdom, and in so doing to apply it for the good of all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research, Professor Robin Owens, to give a brief opening address to today's graduands and their guests.
Chancellor, graduands, parents, partners and friends of the University, congratulations. It is my privilege to congratulate you on behalf of the University of Western Australia. Today's ceremony is an opportunity for all of us, graduating students, parents, friends and staff, to formally recognise and celebrate your outstanding achievement in graduating from UWA. Graduation is a culmination of many years' hard work, and I hope you will remember your time as a UWA student with pride, excitement and accomplishment. During your time here, you would have enjoyed moments of great joy and satisfaction, as well as endured setbacks and challenges. The disciplines that you have chosen to immerse yourself in have unique opportunities and experiences which will significantly prepare you for the future at many levels. You should feel a great sense of pride at how those years of persistence and resilience have paid off as you sit in this beautiful hall with your fellow graduands, surrounded by your loved ones, to celebrate and look into the future with ambition and purpose. I know that we have provided you with something greater than a world-class education. Being a student is much more than providing you with access to academic excellence. I hope that you found time as a UWA student to become involved in the many facets of campus life: clubs, societies, overseas exchange programs, work-integrated learning, or community internships. All these experiences have offered you an opportunity to further develop your skills and prepare you for the future. Our graduates have been making a difference at a local, national and international level now for more than 100 years. So much has changed during this time, and our graduates are now emerging into a rapidly changing new world. In engineering, for example, one of our graduates went on to pursue a career as a mathematician. In 2015, she was selected for the third prestigious Heidelberg Laureate Forum, attending the conference as one of only 5 Australian delegates. Currently, she's a PhD student in London, learning from mathematicians and computer scientists who have reached the top of their fields. Last year, 12 student ambassadors travelled to the Kimberley, promoting science, technology, engineering and mathematics to high school students. The Girls in Engineering program, a partnership with Rio Tinto, has continued to promote STEM subjects, engaging nearly 900 young women. You should feel confident that you are well prepared to take your place in a highly competitive working environment. You have mastered subject matter, concepts and techniques, and acquired skills that equip you for lifelong learning. We find ourselves in a period of disruption, turbulence and global uncertainty. There is much conjecture about our future world, including what the jobs and careers of the future will look like. You also are graduating at a time when the rise of popularism has spawned terms such as fake news, post-truth and alternative facts. Globalisation has brought many opportunities and also provided us with some areas for critical debate and intelligent dialogue. And this is why knowledge and its application to societal issues has never been more important. I urge you to use the knowledge and skills you have learned, especially the power of critical thinking, to rally against this trend and demonstrate that knowledge, facts and evidence matter. Some commentators are suggesting that our graduates of the future are likely to have 5 careers and up to 17 jobs. 40% of current jobs will change, not disappear, and you will be creating opportunities for others in the future. We hope that your UWA degree will empower and equip you to succeed in a career of your choosing, possibly a career that is not yet even created. Each of you has the capacity to make a difference to society, whether it is through major scientific or engineering breakthroughs, through the arts, or through business innovation. But just as importantly, you have developed the capacity to embrace change, provide innovative solutions, and to question and be open to new ideas and possibilities. This is an exciting time for you, a time to rise to the challenge of what comes next. Many of our graduands here today are already making their mark, having achieved great things during their time at UWA. And during this year, several of our graduates have also been recognised with awards and honours for their important achievements in engineering and mathematical sciences. The faculty awarded a total of 209 prizes and scholarships in 2017, and that's an incredible achievement. We also had 60 students take part in study abroad programs at universities around the world, from Norway to New Mexico. What a wonderful way to get some international experience and education. I'd now like to share with you a quote from Wendy Kopp, CEO and co-founder of Teach for All, a global network of non-profit educational organisations working to expand educational opportunities worldwide. She says, "I often hear from new graduates that it's better to wait until you have more experience. But I'm a big believer in the power of inexperience. It was the greatest asset I had when I started Teaching for All. If I had known at the outset how hard it was going to be, I might never have started. The world needs you before you stop asking naive questions, and while you have the time to understand the true nature of the complex problems we face and take them on. I am delighted you chose to study at UWA, and we are sad to see you leave, but this is not farewell, because you will always be part of the UWA community. You will always be welcome here, and we will do our best to support you throughout your career. In turn, I hope that you will stay connected and become an active alumni member. What makes UWA special and unique is that when the university was established, our founders placed great importance on building a community of graduates. Convocation exists to ensure that all graduates have a lifelong connection with this university. Graduates, your hard work and dedication have led you to this moment, and wherever your journey leads you from here, you should be very proud of your achievements. So this is your day, enjoy it, and congratulations to you all. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Angeline Kings-Lin. Angie has led a varied career after graduating from UWA with degrees in science and engineering. She later completed a PhD in artificial vision systems and has been a passionate advocate about science communications throughout her career, working as a theatre presenter at SciTech almost every Sunday morning for 4 years. She led the project to develop mining technology RockLogic, a multi-award-winning system that leveraged robotics techniques and were deployed to Australia's most recognised mining companies. Her career has also included working in genetic epidemiology, disease origin and spread, at the Harry Perkins Institute for Medical Research. Angie currently balances life with 2 young daughters and her role as co-founder and chair of the Repair Cafe Perth, an initiative that is bringing back a culture of repairing to our throwaway society. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Angeline Kings-Lin.
Chancellor, the Honourable Robert French AC, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Robin Owens, and members of the Senate, thank you for having me come back to UWA today to present this speech in the beautiful Winthrop Hall. I did a lot of exams in here, and I still remember staring at the little shields around the room, hoping that they would somehow give me inspiration to answer a question. First up, to the graduates' families, congratulations on the role you've played in getting this group of young people a fantastic start to their careers. To the graduates sitting here today, congratulations on your achievement. To get this far, you've learned the value of sitting in a room by yourself studying and working hard to get information into your head in a way that only you can. This ability to sit in a room with nothing but your thoughts will put you in good stead for your futures ahead. It will help you when you need to contemplate a big decision, untangle a difficult problem, sort out conflicting thoughts, or just let the busyness in your brain subside. I read an interesting article about how some people prefer electric shocks to being left alone with their thoughts. As reported in the journal Science, researchers who led this study initially thought that people would find it easy to spend a few minutes enjoying some quiet time with their thoughts. They found that in an experiment where participants were asked to put away distractions and spend 6 to 15 minutes alone with their thoughts, 32% admitted to cheating by picking up their phone or doing anything but just sitting there. In another study, participants were wired up and given an initial electric shock just to demonstrate the level of pain. They were then given the chance to shock themselves during the thinking period if they wanted to. Among those who later said they'd pay money not to feel the shock again, a quarter of the women and 2/3 of the men gave themselves a zap during the thinking period. One outlier hit the button 190 times in the 15 minutes. This story brings me to one of the themes I was going to share with you today. It's taken a long time for me, but I've come to learn the value of what it is to create a quiet and clear mind when necessary. As you've probably learned from your group assignments, working with others is really important, but you do still need to create that time alone to make progress away from distractions. Some of our best ideas come to us when we're doing a relatively mindless task like driving or cooking, but the chances of having an epiphany while being immersed with words on a screen are next to nil. Some of the best times to assess and question what's going on in your life and in the world are when you aren't actually trying to answer those questions at all. It just seems to come to you. So as you enter the world of full-time work, don't forget to give your quiet mind a chance to be heard every now and then. I feel like this is such a great time for us as citizens of the world to look at where we're heading and question if the way we're doing things will remain workable. There's been no better time when a person could educate themselves in new areas or acquire the knowledge required to ask if things have to be the way they are. We understand how our way of living affects the planet. Using critical thinking and moral reasoning, we can choose to stop accepting the status quo, then consider options for change, and start to create solutions, both as individuals and on a wider scale. There's a quote that says that the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. This applies to the way we choose to live our everyday lives. Your clear mind will also be an essential tool as you adapt to our ever-changing world around us. Things are changing faster now than they have ever in the past. We now deal with a world where self-driving cars exist, artificial intelligence is all around us, and there are things as ludicrous and perhaps awesome as a red convertible car that has been launched into space and is on a trajectory towards the asteroid belt. Some of you in the audience may well have the opportunity to go into space, or have kids that will one day as adults go into space. Things that seemed impossible are now possible. So, to tie these far-off ideas into the practicalities of reaching your goals, I'd like to share 3 things with you that I've personally come to feel are important. Firstly, most of your life's lessons will come from mistakes, and everybody makes tons of them. Your victories are just one opportunity for growth, but you can learn even more from your failures, and in particular, how you recover from them. Like anything else, improvement comes from practice. In the business world, there's an emerging model to fail fast, which means different approaches are tried to directly gather knowledge on what works. Mistakes, once seen as something to be swept under the rug, are instead seen as great sources of information. Secondly, I'm not sure what a natural-born leader is, but leaders aren't always the ones with the most charisma or confidence or big ideas. People have studied leadership for a long time, and if there's something they can definitively report, it's that there's no clear set of predictors of whether a person will become a good leader. This would indicate that leaders can be made and aren't born. There are CEOs with PhDs and CEOs who never finished school, like Sir Richard Branson. So feel free to go ahead and put your own abilities to the test, and you might just surprise yourself. And lastly, deeply held beliefs can turn out to be wrong, so try not to be immovable in all things. In taking a step back and questioning your convictions, you can glimpse how they are interwoven into the fabric of your everyday living and behaviour. Our most deeply held beliefs influence how we make decisions, how we interact with people, and they also affect our attitudes to the world in general. Your ability to adapt and grow starts with looking inward to understand why your view of the world looks different to someone else's. So to finish, I wish you a fulfilling career ahead. Dive in with a clear and open mind, be productive, and with your work, improve people's lives, find solutions to problems, and make this society a better place than it was before you were here. Thank you for listening to my speech. I stood at this podium 17 years ago, fortunate enough to give the valedictory address at my own graduation, and it's been a privilege to stand here now and give this speech for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kingsland, for that very thoughtful address. I'm sure that there are many of us who would agree that there are great benefits in turning the screen off from time to time.
I think you will agree that Dr. Kingsland's address is a fitting introduction to the primary purpose of this ceremony, which is to confer upon graduate degrees of the university in recognition of their academic achievements. My name is Professor John Dell, and I'm the Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences. It's my pleasure today to present graduates to the Chancellor for conferral of the award of Diploma and Degree of Bachelor of this university. We will be presenting graduates in two groups separated by a musical interlude. Chancellor, for the Diploma in Science, Kenneth Douglas Di Vincenzo. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Computer Science, Patrick James Craddock. Riley Morgan Dennis. Francis Kai Follis. James Kenneth de la Isla Itliong. Simone Megan Jennings. Peter Joseph. Zirichjan Kuzmak. Noah Jesse Lester. Georgia Elizabeth Little. Stuart Peter Maisie. Matthew Robert McDonald. Nicholas Jane Mitchell. Bradley Reese Morgan. Lucas Feifel. Liam Samuel Mann Reeves. Matthew Amadeus Sati. Hamish Matthew Jenkins St George. Matthew Reese Stagall. Brian Jia Sheng Trak. Brandon Kai Min Tran. Bradley Andrew Williams. Edmund Sean Yang Yoon. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Data Science, Lincoln Angus McLean. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Engineering Science, Prem Prakajama Agara. Amanda. Abraham Amin. Nicholas James Anderson. Jessica Kelly Anstis. Jed Damien Bell. Lachlan Philip Black. Andre Peter Bohr. Stephen Chai Hung Bowie. Samuel Xavier Buffler. Max William Brooker. Simone Megan Brown. Nicholas Adrian Butterley. Philippe Cadlot de Chedblans. Connor Sam Callis. Ruyen Cow. Joel Christopher Shendian Chan. Akshara Karum. Michael James Clark. Scott Lewis Klein. Courtney Lee Cowan Collins. Sarah Morgan Connor. Tony Continibali. Alexander Nicholas Coulter. Jack Michael Dawes. Michael Thomas de Blakeware. Brittany Jade Teng. Lawson Doe. Lirui Dong. Kwong Min Dong. Xin Du. Connor Patrick Duffin. Abdullah Mohammed Hassan Farah. Samuel David Finch. Alexander Peter Fletcher. Zai An Fu. Ji Yuan Fu. Chao Ran Go. Maximilian Gargano Arnold. Thomas Daniel Godsall. Path Milan Gohil. Erin Georgia Hassett. Jonathan James Hegney. Henri Hellberg. Connor David Hay. Martin Trin Huang. Laura Allison Hodge. Samuel Ronald Holden. Laura Kaylin Howe. David Edward Hu. Jia Xiao Wang. Kevin Yao Xing Huang. Anthony Leonardo Yanatwani. Chloe Ming Wei Ip. Lukmanul Hakim Jalmel. Christopher Matthias Yanis. Jessica Japarman. Thomas James Jeffrey. Ling Jia. Nurses Kawajin. Mahali Evangelos Kakulis. Jessica Patricia Keenan. James Anthony Kelly. Jia Yong Jessica Koo. Alvin Kingsley. Austin Peter Klusek. Peter Hing Hao Kong. Dean Stuart Langford. Jake Cartoon Stephen Lashmar. Victor Lau. Justin Hoi Lok Leong. Hang Lee. Jia Wen Lee. Mi Chi Lee. Chen Chang Lim. Zifan Lin. Yu Yi Liu. Kyle Rory Ludwig. Alexandra Aowin Lyons. Jeremy David Meneses. William Ronald Robertson Marshall. Max Bradley Majasevich. Maximilian Oliver Montanari. Daniel Jordan Blake Morley. Seshin Naidu. Alvira Ilyana Navarro. Kyle Robert Newman. John Huang Nguyen. And James Nicolaides.
The university is very proud of its Conservatorium of Music and the performance standards of its students. I therefore have great pleasure in introducing a brief musical interlude by members of Con Cantorum, one of the UWA vocal ensembles, who will be performing Feelin' Good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Reeds drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new and I'm feeling good. Dragonflies out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace. When day is done, and this whole world is a new world and a born world for when you shine, I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
And I'm feeling and I'm feeling good.
Thanks once again to Concantorum.
It is my pleasure now to present graduates to the Chancellor for the conferral of the degree of Bachelor of this university. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Engineering Science, Gabriel Tess O'Connor. Matthew Glenn Oleman. Dylan Bradley Page. Rahul Bhatratbhai Panchanal. Joshua Lucas Parks. Ghanshyam Patel. Liam Michael Peters. Nathan Stephen Pyramida. Peter James Perry. Mai Christina Pham. Louis Planchina. Martin Alexander Porbisky. Ryan Henry Redemeyer. Milos Radic. Benjamin Albert Reid. Jack Duncan Reid. Michaela Taryn Margaret Riley. Liam Thomas Rogers. Shane Thomasin Rohan. Emmanuel Amion Roquino. Zach Rosenberg. Jordan Lee Rosetto. Rin Digby Francis Rugan. Krista Angela Silva Santiago. Shubham Anurag Sukhasana. Mimi Yun Singh. Jin Jian Xiao. Matthew Paul Shaw. Benjamin Simeon. Jacqueline K. Maysoon. Alec Bruno Sorgiovanni. Willem Peter Gerrit Spielman. Kasper Schozda. Nandini Sidlowski. Hans Xavier Taylor. Erwin Shi-Wei T. Hundan Tigov. Sherilyn Amanda Wee Ping Tiao. Yi Mon Thant. Alexander James Thatcher. Sean Garthwaite Tonkinson. Marco Trimboli. Dat Kong Trin. Daniel Ho Nam Tu. Liam Carroll van der Westerhuizen. Vivek Venugopal. Chao Wei Wong. Bryn Alexander Ward. Tomoki John Tachi Barnab Ward. Benjamin Sebastian Waters. Bronte Sky Isbia Waring. Hayley Wheatley. Cameron Carter Wilson. Jin Eng Wong. Jin Zhang Wong. Nicole Sam Yi Wong. Nathan Jun Kit Wu. Kejian Wu. Halki Yamamuchi. Daswin Yosin. Stephen Johnson William Yovich. Yan Mi Yuan. Kai Zhao. Xinting Zhu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Mathematics and Statistics, Nicholas Philip Blanchard. Isabella Yolanda Hardwick. Nicola Isabel Morgan Holdway. Wee Nguyen Lam. Campbell Alexander Milo. Raymond Seton Watson. Billy Say Kun Wu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Physics, Jacques Marlin Audet. Arjun Balaji. Jasmine Rose Begovic. Benjamin James Burridge. Mitchell Key Kavanagh. Benjamin Say Hearn Chia. Jennifer Elise Hardwick. Thomas Joseph Klein. Jarjet Low. Kelly Mae McKinnon. Edric Anton Matviev. Matthew Stephen Peter Mainuma. Daniel Yahweh Nguyen. Tam Swan Nguyen. Jonathan Seng Wee Pang. Reese Edward Paul. Jonathan Richard Ricketts. Elton Anthony Rodriguez. Franz David Schaefer. Madeline Dineen Isadora Sheard. Aaron John Shields. Jessica Eloise Thorne. Jenny Vo. Brendan Oliver Wright. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Quantitative Methods, Samira Mohammed Mohammed. Avi Joy Roy Chowdhury. Alexander Andrus Sladens. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Fabian Mark Dagnoni. Joe Arthur Grundy. Jordan James Hedges. Alexander Hun Yen Chua. Nathan Edward Hayward. Christopher Wee Kan Yung. For the degree of Bachelor of Computer Science, Matthew Robert Didko. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Chemical and Process Engineering, Nicholas Peter James Seaman. Joachim Tierney. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Chemical and Process Engineering with honours, John Carl Decker Zangari. Brendan Russell Nicol. Stuart Russell Potter. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Civil Engineering, Callum Thomas James Clark. Devon Dominic Giacomara. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Matthew J. Clark Masira. John Alexander Hodge. Tynan James Switzer. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Environmental Engineering with honours, Hannah Frodmont Sutton. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, Osam Ahmad Kadri Abdul Salam. Marcus Roald Graff. Charles Joseph Taylor. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering with honours, Thomas Eamon Easter. And for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Mining Engineering, Gary Lai.
On behalf of this university, I confer the award of Diploma and degree of Bachelor upon the graduates presented to me by the Pro Vice Chancellor and the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences. Now, on behalf of the university, I confer in absentia respective awards upon those graduates who were unable to be present at this ceremony and whose names are printed in the program. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite a member of the Council of Convocation, Mr. Jeff Gunningham, to welcome today's new graduates.
Fellow graduates, as a member of the Council of Convocation of the University, I congratulate you on your graduation. As graduates who join the diverse and incredibly talented alumni of this university, because of UWA's unique structure and supporting legislation, you also automatically join Convocation, the representative body of the graduates as lifelong members. And as members of Convocation, you now have the right and privilege to share in and contribute to the intellectual and cultural life of the university, and to stand for election to the Council of Convocation and for the 2 places on Senate elected by members of Convocation. As a member of Convocation, you join over 150,000 graduates from across the world who have successfully completed their studies at UWA over the past 100 years. The friendships you have developed as a student at UWA are fostered within Convocation to support valued lifelong networks. Convocation members range from young to old, and all are welcome, valued and supported. As time passes after graduation, you will enjoy seeing and hearing the stories of success of your fellow students. Convocation is proud to be able to promote the wonderful achievements of our members and looks forward to telling you a story. I welcome you as a new member and encourage you to continue the relationship with the university, which began when you choose to study here and continue as a member of Convocation. Congratulations and best wishes.
Today, of course, we celebrate the achievements of our students, and it's therefore appropriate that we should hear a student voice to mark this significant occasion. I'm pleased now to invite Mr. Alexander Chua, who graduated today with a Bachelor of Science with first-class honours in Mathematics and Statistics, to give the valedictory address on behalf of the graduates.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of Senate, distinguished guests, members of staff, graduates and their guests, it is my honour to be speaking before you at today's graduation ceremony. I'd firstly like to acknowledge all the other graduates. Completing any university degree is very demanding and takes a lot of persistence, so congratulations on taking an important step in your careers. I'd like to tell you a bit about myself. I graduated from Christchurch Grammar School in 2013 and have since been at UWA. UWA was my top choice of university, and I found all the lecturers to be very excellent and enthusiastic. Last year, I completed my Bachelor of Science with honours, majoring in mathematics. I found math to be very interesting from a young age, as I always enjoyed spotting patterns and the process of problem solving, where through a series of clever deductions, you can find solutions to problems that seemed impossible from the outset. My honours project topic was in a topic in permutation group theory, which is one of the big strengths of the UWA math department. I learned a lot about the process of research, where you have to read other papers to see what ideas other people have, and writing a dissertation. And since then, I've written up some of my results into a paper with the hope of publication. I would like to thank the School of Mathematics and Statistics for supporting me throughout the last 4 years in my degree. In particular, I'd just like to make a special mention to my supervisors, Professor Michael Judici and Dr. Luke Morgan, for their constant support and encouragement throughout my project. It certainly made a big difference having supervisors who were so quick to answer my questions and were so interested in the topic. I've always thought it's important to take advantage of any opportunities when they present themselves. Having attended a lot of mathematical Olympiad training camps when I was a high school student, I got asked back in the last few years to help out at these camps as a live-in staff member. This was a very unexpected opportunity for me and was lots of fun. It involved giving lots of lectures, marking exams, and working on some really interesting problems with a group of really motivated high school kids. This year, I started the first year of a medical degree. Medicine is a really busy course with lots of lectures, including some 6-hour blocks. And there are lots of topics ranging from anatomy to physiology and biochemistry. There are also lots of other opportunities to meet new people, which is really good. At this stage, I'm not sure what specialty I'll be going into, but for me, research seems like something really interesting, and I think I'll be able to make a difference in the community with that. It's also important to have hobbies apart from university life, which can get very busy, as a way to de-stress. And for me, that's through music. I've played the piano for almost my whole life, and I thoroughly enjoy the process of learning new pieces, attending concerts, and performing. And I recently gave a recital at St. George's College, which was a great experience. Finally, I'd just like to congratulate all the graduates once again and wish you all the best with your future endeavors. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation in today's proceedings, which has made it a memorable occasion for all of the graduates. I'd particularly like to thank Dr. Angeline Kings-Lynn for giving the graduation address, and I made some remarks about that earlier, and Mr. Alexander Chua, whose personally rich experiences are a tale of the experiences of all of the graduates here in their different ways. To all of the new graduates, I offer my warm congratulations. As UWA graduates, your achievements will enhance the reputation of this university. We hope that you will keep in touch with us over the coming years to let us know what you are doing, and that you will retain a lifelong connection as a part of the university community. The ceremony is now concluded, and I invite you to join us on Whitfield Court for light refreshments. Members of the audience are asked to rise and remain standing in their places until the procession, including the new graduates, has left the hall.